Welcome back to the 2008 Lincoln Mark LT with the Avik Pioneer Avic 8100 NEX series. Today I wanted to do a short video on the map features and going through the map settings, how to plan routes, and essentially how to use the navigation bit of the 8000 series of, I believe, the 5 and 4000 series Pioneer Avic units. So let's get her started up. And, we'll go through and discuss this. Hopefully I can cover the majority of it. There's a ton of settings in the map itself of this unit. Oh, let's get through our warning screen here. We'll go back to the home menu. So from the home menu, if we want to pull up our map, we're obviously going to select the map portion. And the phone, the recording device, kind of shows it a little bit blurry, but believe you me, it is as crisp as it can be. So you'll just have to trust me on that. Now, when you first start up the system, sometimes it does take a while to load the map. So I would suggest that you get your music thing set up or your Bluetooth or what have you and go through there. So we'll pull up our map. The first thing we want to do is go to the bottom right here. And we're going to go through the settings of the map first. Alright, start right up with route preferences. So we can select our vehicle type, which for most of us is going to be a car. Your route that you can plan, whether you want it to navigate the fastest route, the easiest route, the shortest route by distance, or the economical route. Pretty self-explanatory there. Your navigation mode, on, off road. And the road types and things that it would navigate through if you were to create a route. Whether it be highways, period charges, per-use tolls, ferries, car shuttle trains, carpool lanes, and unpaved roads. These two at the bottom are turned off by default. Next, we'll go into our navigation map. We'll look at our map display. So from our map display, we can change our viewpoint as seen from above. We can change that from normal to far to close. I believe default is set to normal. I have mine set to far. Now keep in mind that the system will automatically adjust the viewpoint depending on whether you're approaching an intersection, what your speed is, and what type of road you're on. But this is just a general rule of thumb for your viewpoint. So I prefer mine to be far. You can adjust your color mode to stay on day or night mode if you happen to like the nighttime view better. But I have mine set to auto. Your colors, your map colors, there's 12 of them. I don't see a huge difference between all of them, to be honest with you, but I do prefer the topographical elevation colored map for daytime. Night, I just have default. Your display on your map, you can display landmarks, buildings, 3D terrain, your logs that you have tracked. If you have done a route, obviously, and you track that log, you can have that show up on the map, and that's how you turn it off if you wanted to. Your place markers, these are your blimps that show up on the map. You probably saw a few of them when I was selecting the color. You can have restaurants, you can have hotels, airports, automotive services, pretty much anything show up. But what I would suggest is keeping this to a minimal. Because you are going to clutter your map up, especially in any major built-up area. Now, I have just a few of those selected. Your data fields. This is kind of a complex thing, and it's something that you have to mess around with a little bit. But these are the data fields that are on your map display, and you can adjust what each data field shows. So if you're not satisfied with if I was navigating to somewhere, say this north indicator, we want something else to show up there. Maybe we want, distance to our destination there. Maybe we want that. So we're going to go back into our settings, and that's where we're going to go into our data fields. Sorry about my finger in the way. I got to think about this for a minute. So we go to our navigation map. We go to our data fields. Now the question is, that north heading, which one was that? So we're without a route. So I don't have a route displayed right now. Maybe we can change that to altitude. Let's see if it adjusts. There you go. So I'm 187 feet above sea level. Good to know. Good to know. We'll change that back to heading. So anyway, though, yeah, so keep that in mind. Pretty neat. You can adjust a lot of things. First, time of arrival to destination by default. You can do distance, time to distance. I'm not sure what the difference is between time of arrival and time. Maybe just the time that you will get there. No, I'm sorry. I know exactly. Man, I'm dumb. Time of arrival is exactly that, and your time distance, say like 2 hours and 37 minutes. That's what that means. Time of arrival to your waypoints, distance, all kinds of jazz you can change. So you can change each one of those. Route progress bar. There's a progress bar on the far right part of the screen when you do a navigation. We'll get into that later. And it shows the amount that you have left. I like that. It's pretty nice. Offer freeway services displayed. You have, I think, gas stations, restaurants, rest areas. Automatic overview of your route. Pretty nice. What you want to display on your navigation map, your signposts, your junction views. That's essentially, if you're approaching a major intersection, it'll actually show a 3D model of that intersection, showing the lanes and all that. Tunnel view, same thing, 3D model of the tunnel. This thing does work in tunnels. I've gone in Boston in some of the major tunnels there, and I haven't had any issues as far as losing GPS or at least my location. So no issues there. Offer congestion detour on highways. Offer hints. Parking, I have that turned off. I think that's on as default. And that about covers it under the navigation map portion. Yep, that's it. Let's move over to our sound. We can adjust the volumes of all of our sounds within the map.
Have a nice trip. Drive carefully.
We can change our tones.
Have a nice trip. Drive carefully.
Whether we want our voice guidance on or off, whether we want to announce street names in a native language or the foreign language. If you're really one of them smart cookies that can speak multiple languages, if you visit some foreign country and you're able to speak that language and you just want to be that good, you can turn that on so it'll speak in there. Early indication of maneuvers. If you feel that the system doesn't notify you quick enough to turn, you can adjust that. Your verbosity level, that's to basically adjust how much the navigation talks to you. So if you find that the navigation's talking to you too much, it's just giving you too many warnings or issues or what have you, you can actually turn this down. I think it's set to verbose by default. I have mine on medium. Seems to be sufficient. Announce route summary, announce country info, traffic info. All those are grayed out, including my street names and all that, because under my regional settings and my language voice, I have a natural voice selected. Now, if I went to the TTS voice, that will pronounce street names. We'll go to that.
Have a nice trip. Drive carefully.
So it's just more of a robotic voice, but the thing is about it, it can pronounce any word, and not well, but it can. So if we go back into our sound now, all of those will not be grayed out. They'll be right there. So you can have them speak whatever you like. So we're going to try either way. I don't use the navigation system.
Have a nice trip. Drive carefully.
All that much. So I'm going to try either way. You're obviously your language. You know I have English, units and format. I live in the States, so I have Fahrenheit, miles per gallon, tons. Your coordinate display, and my currency is USD. So I think as default, temperature does come as Celsius. You may want to change that. And then your time zone, I have selected automatic. Okay, moving on to our warnings. Pretty intuitive, this part of it. Our speed warning, that can display in any screen, not just the map alone. And there'll be a little speed limit thing. If you have any knowledge with this system, or if you have it, you probably already recognize it. You can actually turn that off. I think default might be audio and visual. The audio bit will drive you crazy unless you never break the speed limit. You can have the speed limit always visible regardless of what screen you're on, like I said. And then you can adjust your when the warning does come on, all the way up to 130% of the speed limit. I have both mine set to 110. Alert points. This is turned off by default. If you turn it on, there'll be a warning that comes up saying using this function may be prohibited in certain countries. Switch that on. This is actually pretty neat. You can adjust when the system alerts you of all these different things. Now keep in mind, if you turn it on, all of these things will be by default audio and visual. So you want to go through each thing and adjust to your liking. The only thing that I have here in this category is audio and visual is our dangerous area. I'm yet to see what that is, but in fire stations, like, I have turned off. I don't need to know when there's a fire station. Same thing, city entry point. I don't necessarily need to see that either. Okay, our alert types, we were just there. Our speed camera types, these are all the different types of speed cameras. Same concept, we can go through all of this and select whether we want it audio and visual. The other thing that we can do is select when the audio warning occurs, whether it's if we're approaching it or if we're only speeding. I like that, nice feature. Bus lane camera, probably don't need to have that on. You can see, so let's try that, you know what I mean? I definitely want to try it out and see what that looks like and go from there. Let's go to our display, our menu animations, our day skin theme. I only see dark in both of these. It says dark here, and oh, sorry, I know you can't see it, but that's what it says, and that's the only option. So, let me check it again. Yep, that's it. Okay, that's it for display. Our traffic, whether we want traffic to be on, the route will actually show up. I mean, it's not going to show cars, but on the route, it's going to show red, orange, yellow, and that's to signify the traffic in that area. Red being the worst, green being the best. Where we can get our source, if I was connected via Android Auto, Bluetooth, iPhone, the iPhone thing, the Apple CarPlay, this online would be on. I think it's selected by default, but you might want to check that. Your source, your traffic info, your colors, icons, show traffic info. I have that on. I don't have free traffic flow. You don't have to see that. Offer detour if it saves at least, and you can adjust that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know, you can adjust. So the system, man, is pretty neat. I know a lot of people complained about the Pioneer navigation in comparing it to Garmin, but this system is way more intuitive than Garmin. And sure, it's a little more complex to learn, but once you do learn it, it's a superior navigation system. No doubt about it. Okay, our weather and fuel. I think you got to have a subscription for the weather. The fuel, you have to have the program, not the program, but it's the system that you plug in to your vehicle to be able to get that data. I don't have that. Your trip monitor, you can save logs, track logs, etc. Your Avik Sync, that is a app on your phone. I've tried to use it. It does not work on mine. The issue that I'm having, and I have a Samsung Galaxy S6. When I pull up Avik Sync on my phone, when the keyboard comes up to input data in those fields, when I select the letter, nothing happens. I just get a tone. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That would probably require a phone call to Pioneer and see what's going on, but I haven't done that yet. Your connected services, if you have a subscription to the Avik service, then these wouldn't be grayed out, I believe. I haven't messed with that. Your configuration wizard, that is essentially when you first start up the map for the very first time, the configuration will come up. If you want that to come up again, you select that. And then your sync tool, if you have the Navi Extras app on your computer and you put information on an SD card, you can insert the SD card in the system and then sync the map data with the SD card information. To put in a route, or we wanted to navigate to wherever. The first thing we can do is we can press the Navi section down there at the very bottom left hand corner. This will come up. New route 2, you can search by an address, a physical address, places, online search. Again, I think that you have to have a subscription in order to do the online search. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your histories, or your history of any other places that you've searched in the past, any saved routes, you can search by coordinates. The way that I like to do it is I will get the physical address of wherever I'm going. So if I'm headed to a hotel, I'll Google where, the address, and then I'll punch that information in. Seems to be the easiest way for me. And then it'll have country and state, zip code, and street name, and then it'll come up and prompt you for the number after you enter the street name. So let's say we've done all that. Next, it'll come up with this information. It'll show us that there's tolls, a toll booth, some type of money, and it looks like a possible ferry. So we'll select our destination. It'll calculate the route. And it'll come up with a route summary screen. You only have 5 or 6 seconds to get through this. If you want to hit route info, it'll show you each turn along your route at different times where you're going to be. That's kind of handy. And then your alternative routes as well. As you can see, it's selected on economical. That was because I was messing with it earlier. But the economical route shaves off 5 miles and it has the same travel time as the fast route. Now, it will depict the differences on the map, but it's probably just right down in the major city there. We select the route, start navigation. Alright, now I'm parked in a garage right now, but it seems to know where I'm at pretty well. Our data fields here in the bottom left, top left, these are the things that we can change under the map, under the settings there when I talked about quite earlier. A navigation map, I believe, and then your data fields. Now these things aren't grayed out anymore, but we can change all that. We'll just select our map. Okay, so we've got that covered. If we want to cancel our route, we can select. I'm sorry, I went a little too fast probably. Over here in the bottom right, and just simply cancel route. We can add waypoints to our route. We can do detours and alternatives, and we can again look at our route summary. If you weren't able to select that while it was loading, you can pull that back up right there. Okay, let's go ahead and cancel the route. We'll go back into our navigation. The other thing too, if you're already at the map, if you want to navigate too, you don't have to go back to the home screen, hit Navi. You can simply, from the map, bottom right hand corner, new route. There you are. But let's check out Route Planner. Let's say we're traveling a great distance and it's going to take multiple days. We want to add, an entire route. We're going to stop at numerous hotels and we're traveling, 1,000 miles. We can add several destinations. So let's say we add this one. Set as destination. Now we want to add another hotel. We can do that. I don't have any saved because like I said, I just updated my system. We want to add this one. And then we want to add this one, right? We can do that. We can add as many as we want. And then we can show a route and you can save the route and all that jazz. Guys, that covers, I think, just about everything as far as the map's concerned. You can tilt, pan, all that type of stuff if you have a capacitive touch screen. I will say that, like I said, it is a little slow, so you just got to be patient there. There's a lot to load. 2D and 3D. and that's just the map display. So that's it. I hope you have a general understanding now if you didn't before, or if you already did. Maybe there's some things that you now know that you might not have. Under your about, you can look at your version, all that jazz. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.